Hello, students. Welcome to our lesson today. I'm so happy to have you here because today we are going to talk about something very important: learning English. Now, I know that starting a new language can feel a little bit scary. You might think, English is hard. There are so many words, rules, and it's so different from my language. But let me tell you a secret. It doesn't have to be hard. In fact, learning English can be fun, simple, and something you can enjoy every day. You see, English is a global language. People all over the world use it to communicate, and it opens so many doors, whether it's for travel, work, or making new friends. But the best part? You don't need to learn everything all at once. Today, I'm going to show you how to learn English step by step, in a way that makes sense and fits into your life. Don't worry if you're just starting. It doesn't matter if you know only a few words or none at all. Everyone begins somewhere, and today you're taking the first step. I promise, with a little bit of practice every day, you will be amazed at how much you can learn. And remember, learning English is not a race. It's a journey. Every word you learn, every sentence you say, is progress. So, take a deep breath, relax, and get ready to enjoy the process of learning English. By the end of this lesson, you'll see that learning English is not only possible, it's something you can do with confidence. Now let's dive in and discover how you can start your English learning journey in a simple and easy way. All right, now that we're ready to begin, the very first thing you need to focus on is learning basic words. Think of these words as the building blocks of English. Just like when you were a child learning your first language, you didn't start with long, complicated sentences, right? You started by learning simple words that you could use every day. That's exactly how we are going to approach English. Let's begin with the basics, words you already see and hear in your daily life. These are everyday words that will help you understand the world around you and begin to communicate in English. Words like apple, dog, water, and book. These are not just random words. They are words you might use every day. Imagine walking into a shop and being able to say, "I want an apple," or seeing a cute dog and telling your friend, "Look, a dog." These small, simple words are where your English journey begins. Why start with basic words? Well, when you know the basic words, you can start to understand and speak English more easily. Think of it like learning to swim. Before you dive into the deep water, you need to learn how to float, right? These simple words are your way of learning how to float in the English language. They give you confidence and help you understand that learning a new language is possible. Now, here's a little tip to help you. Try to learn 5 new words every day. I know it might sound like a small number, but trust me, even 5 words a day can make a huge difference over time. Imagine, if you learn 5 new words every day for 1 week, you will know 35 new words by the end of the week. And in a month? That's 150 words. Think about how much you could say and understand with just those words alone. How do you learn new words, you might ask? It's simple. You can make flashcards with pictures and the English word on them. You can stick these cards on things around your house. For example, you can put a card that says door on your door, or one that says mirror on your mirror. This way, every time you walk by, you see the word and learn it naturally. Another great way is to use your phone or notebook to write down new words you hear or read. Then, review those words before you go to bed. Don't be afraid to practice saying these words out loud, even if no one is around. Speak to yourself. Say, apple, dog, water, or book. The more you say these words, the easier they will become for you to remember. Speaking out loud is key to making these words a part of your active vocabulary, the words you can use without thinking. Also, you don't have to learn alone. Try teaching these new words to a friend, a family member, or even a child. When you teach someone else, you're also learning because it helps reinforce the words in your memory. You can make a game out of it, like asking each other to name the things around you in English. Remember, every word you learn is like adding a brick to your English house. One brick at a time, and soon you'll have a strong foundation that will support all your learning. So, let's start building this foundation, brick by brick, with simple, everyday words. Take your time, enjoy the process, and before you know it, you'll be able to recognize and use hundreds of English words in your daily life. So, what will your 5 words be today? Start with something simple, something you use every day. Maybe apple, pen, phone, water, and table. Keep it fun, keep it easy, and most importantly, keep going. You've already made a great start. Now that you've started learning basic words, you're ready to take the next step, putting those words together to make simple sentences. This is where English really starts to come alive for you. You see, learning individual words is important, but being able to connect them into sentences is what lets you communicate, express your thoughts, and understand what others are saying. Think about it like this. Words are like the ingredients in a recipe, but sentences are the dish you create. You can have all the ingredients, but you need to know how to mix them together to make something tasty. In the same way, you need to know how to combine words to make sentences that people understand. So, let's start with the basics. A simple sentence in English usually follows a clear structure: subject plus verb plus object. This might sound technical, but let me break it down for you. The subject is the person or thing doing the action. The verb is the action itself, and the object is what the action is being done to. For example, in the sentence, I like apples, I is the subject, like is the verb, and apples is the object. It's that easy. Let's look at another example. The dog is happy. Here, the dog is the subject, is the verb, and happy describes the dog. You've just made a complete sentence in English using very basic words. Now, imagine you learn 5 new words a day, like we talked about earlier. If you can combine them into simple sentences, suddenly those 5 words become a lot more useful. For example, if you learn the word book, you can make a sentence like, "This is my book." You're not just learning words, you're learning how to use them. When you start making sentences, don't worry about making them long or complicated. Start with short, clear sentences that you can use in your daily life. Sentences like, I like apples, this is my phone, or the cat is small. These might seem very basic, but they are the foundation of everything you will learn later. You're training your brain to think in English, and that's the most important part. Here's a fun tip. Practice speaking these sentences to yourself or with a friend. You don't need anyone around to practice. You can talk to yourself in the mirror, or even practice when you're doing simple things like washing the dishes or walking around your house. Say, I am washing the dishes, or I am walking to the door. It might feel a little funny at first, but this is a great way to get comfortable with using English in real-life situations. If you have a friend or family member who is also learning English, practice speaking these simple sentences with them. You can take turns asking each other questions like, "What is this?" and answering, "This is a book," or "This is a pen." If you don't have someone to practice with, try writing down sentences and reading them out loud. The more you speak, the more natural it will feel. Another great way to practice is to create stories in your head using the words you know. For example, let's say you learn the words dog, happy, and park. You can make a little story. The dog is happy. The dog is at the park. The dog plays at the park. This may seem simple, but it's actually a powerful way to train your brain to think in English. You're not just memorizing words anymore, you're creating meaning with them. Here's something to remember. Don't be afraid to make mistakes. Mistakes are a natural part of learning any new language. When you start using sentences, it's normal to mix up words or say things that don't sound quite right. That's okay. The important thing is that you're trying. The more you practice, the better you'll get. Even native English speakers make mistakes sometimes, and don't feel like you need to rush. Language learning is a process, and it's perfectly fine to take your time with each new sentence. If you find a sentence you like, say it over and over again until it feels comfortable. Then try making a new one using different words. For example, if you learn the sentence, "I like apples," you can change it to, "I like oranges," or "I like dogs." This will help you see how flexible English sentences can be. So, your homework today is to practice making simple sentences using the words you already know. Start with "I like" or "this is," and build from there. Once you feel comfortable, try asking and answering simple questions like, "What is this?" or "Do you like?" You'll be amazed at how quickly you can start speaking English with confidence. Remember, every sentence you say is another step forward on your journey to learning English. Keep it simple, keep it fun, and most importantly, keep going. Now that we've talked about learning basic words and making simple sentences, let's move on to something just as important: listening. Listening is one of the best ways to learn English, and the great thing is, you can do it every day, even if you're busy with other things. In fact, listening to English as much as possible is one of the easiest and most effective ways to improve your skills. Why is listening so important? Well, when you listen to English, your brain gets used to how the language sounds. You start to hear the rhythm, the pronunciation, and the way words connect to each other. It's almost like learning a new song. At first, you might not understand every word, but the more you hear it, the more familiar it becomes. The same happens with English. Your brain is always working in the background, even if you don't understand everything right away. So how can you listen to English every day? The good news is that there are so many ways to do it. You don't have to sit in a classroom or read a textbook to improve your listening skills. Here are a few fun and simple ways to make listening a part of your daily routine. English songs. Everyone loves music, right? Find some songs in English that you enjoy. They don't have to be complicated, just something with simple lyrics that you can sing along to. Pop songs, for example, often use easy, repetitive phrases. As you listen, try to focus on the words and how they sound. Over time, you'll start to pick up new words without even trying. And don't be shy to sing along. It's a great way to practice your pronunciation. You can even look up the lyrics and follow along as you listen. Podcasts and audiobooks. Another great way to listen to English is through podcasts or audiobooks. You can find podcasts like this one, where I'm talking to you right now, that are designed specifically for English learners. These podcasts use simple language and talk about everyday topics, so they're perfect for beginners. You can listen while you're cooking, walking, or even relaxing at home. The great thing about podcasts is that you can listen anywhere, anytime. If you're not sure where to start, just look for a podcast that interests you and give it a try. English movies and TV shows. If you enjoy watching movies or TV shows, why not use them to learn English? Start with shows that have simple dialogue. Don't worry if you don't understand every word. You can turn on subtitles to help you follow along. As you watch, pay attention to how the actors speak, how they use everyday phrases, and the way sentences are structured. Watching with subtitles in English can also help you connect spoken words with their written form. Plus, it's a fun way to practice without feeling like you're studying. YouTube videos. There are thousands of YouTube videos created for people just like you who are learning English. Some of these videos are tutorials, others are stories, and many are just fun vlogs where people talk about their day. Find videos that match your interests, whether it's cooking, traveling, or even learning new skills, and listen to the English being spoken. The more you listen, the more your brain starts to get used to the language. Now, here's something important to remember. You don't have to understand everything right away. In fact, it's completely normal to not catch every word, especially in the beginning. But that's okay. Even when you don't understand every single word, your brain is still learning. It's picking up patterns in the language, recognizing sounds, and slowly building your ability to understand more and more. So don't feel discouraged if you miss a few words or phrases. Every time you listen, you're getting better. Listening is also a great way to improve your pronunciation. When you listen carefully to how words are spoken by native speakers, you can try to copy the sounds and the rhythm of their speech. This helps you sound more natural when you speak English. For example, if you hear someone say, "How are you?" you can practice repeating it exactly as they said it. Try to mimic the tone and the way the words flow together. Over time, this will help you speak English with more confidence and clarity. Another tip: listen to things you enjoy. If you like a certain type of music, listen to that. If you're into sports, find podcasts or videos about sports in English. When you listen to topics that interest you, it doesn't feel like work. Instead, it feels fun and engaging, and you'll want to do it more often. Try to make listening a daily habit. You don't need to spend hours doing it. Even 10 or 15 minutes a day can make a big difference. You could listen to a podcast while you're eating breakfast, or listen to music on your way to school or work. The key is consistency. The more you listen, the more comfortable you'll become with the language. Lastly, don't forget to have fun with it. Learning English isn't just about studying, it's about enjoying the process. Let yourself get lost in an English song, laugh at a funny video, or get excited about a new TV show. The more you enjoy listening to English, the faster you'll learn. So, let's start today. Choose something to listen to, a song, a podcast, or a video, and just let the language wash over you. Don't worry if you don't understand it all. Your brain is doing the work, even when it doesn't feel like it. Little by little, your understanding will grow, and soon, listening to English will feel as natural as listening to your own language. Keep going, and remember, every time you listen, you're getting closer to fluency. Now, we've talked about learning basic words, making simple sentences, and listening to English every day. The next big step on your journey is to start speaking. Speaking is one of the most important and exciting parts of learning a new language, because it lets you express yourself and communicate with others. I know it can feel scary at first, but don't worry. Speaking English doesn't have to be perfect from the start. It's about trying, practicing, and improving over time. So, why is speaking so important? When you speak, you're using everything you've learned so far, the words, sentences, and sounds you've been practicing. Speaking helps you build confidence, and the more you practice, the more natural it will feel. Think of it like riding a bike. At first, it might seem hard to balance, but with practice, you get better, and soon, you don't even have to think about it. You might be wondering, how can I practice speaking if I'm not in an English-speaking country? Don't worry, you don't need to be surrounded by English speakers to improve your speaking skills. In fact, you can practice speaking anywhere, anytime. Here are a few ways you can start speaking English today. Talk to yourself. This is one of the easiest and most effective ways to practice. You don't need a partner. Just talk to yourself. Stand in front of a mirror and say something like, "Hello, how are you today?" Or, "What do I want to eat for breakfast?" It might feel a little strange at first, but this helps you get comfortable hearing yourself speak English. You can describe what you're doing, like, "I'm making tea," or "I'm reading a book." The more you do this, the more natural it becomes. Use simple greetings. You don't have to start with long sentences. Even saying a few words like, "Hello," or "How are you?" is a great way to practice. Try greeting people in English, your friends, family, or even yourself. For example, when you wake up in the morning, say, "Good morning," to yourself, or when you see someone, say, "How are you?" These small conversations help build your confidence. Practice with a friend or family member. If you have someone in your life who is also learning English, you can practice speaking with them. You don't have to have long conversations. Just start with simple exchanges like, "What is your name?" or "What do you like to do?" You can even teach them new words that you've learned. Practicing with someone else helps you get used to having a real conversation in English. Record yourself. Another great way to practice speaking is by recording yourself. You can use your phone to record a short conversation or even a few sentences. For example, you could say, "Today I went to the park," or "I like apples because they are sweet." Then, listen to your recording and see how you sound. This helps you hear your progress and gives you a chance to work on your pronunciation. Now, you might be thinking, what if I make a mistake? The answer is simple. That's okay. In fact, making mistakes is a normal and important part of learning. Every mistake you make is an opportunity to learn and get better. So, don't be afraid to say something wrong. The more you practice, the fewer mistakes you'll make over time. Remember, even native speakers make mistakes sometimes, so you're not alone. Let me share a little secret with you. The more you practice, the better you get. Think of speaking English like playing a musical instrument. When you first start learning to play the piano or the guitar, you don't expect to be perfect on your first try, right? You practice every day, and little by little, you get better. It's the same with speaking English. The more you do it, the more comfortable and confident you'll feel. Here's another tip. Don't rush. Take your time with each word and sentence. If you're nervous, it's okay to slow down. Speak clearly and focus on getting the words out. The goal is not to speak fast, but to speak in a way that you understand and feel comfortable with. Over time, as you practice more, you'll naturally start speaking faster and more fluently. And guess what? You can practice anywhere. While you're cooking, talk to yourself in English. I'm making a sandwich, or I'm boiling water. When you're walking outside, describe what you see. There is a tree, or the sky is blue. You don't need anyone to practice with. Just speak out loud and enjoy the process. Speaking also helps you build your vocabulary. The more you speak, the more you'll realize which words you know and which ones you still need to learn. For example, if you're trying to talk about your day but don't know the word for something, you'll be motivated to look it up and learn it. This way, you're not only practicing speaking, but also growing your vocabulary at the same time. Finally, remember that speaking English is a journey, not a race. Every time you practice speaking, you're getting one step closer to fluency. Celebrate your progress, no matter how small. If today you can say, "I like apples," tomorrow you might be able to say, "I like apples because they are sweet and healthy." And one day, you'll be having full conversations without even realizing how much you've learned. So, your challenge for today is to start speaking. Whether it's a few words to yourself in the mirror or a short conversation with a friend, just start. Don't wait for the perfect moment or the perfect words. Just give it a try. The more you practice, the easier it becomes, and soon you'll be speaking English with confidence and ease. Keep going, keep practicing, and remember, you're doing amazing. Reading is another powerful way to improve your English skills. When you read, you not only learn new words, but you also see how sentences are formed, and this helps you understand the language better. Don't worry, you don't have to start with difficult books right away. Instead, begin with simple books. Books written for kids or beginners. These books are perfect because they use easy words and short sentences, making it much easier for you to understand. One of the best things about reading is that it gives you a chance to see how English is used in everyday life. You'll come across common phrases, basic grammar, and vocabulary that you can start using in your own speaking and writing. Reading also helps you recognize words that you may have heard before but didn't know how to spell. Seeing these words written down makes them easier to remember. You can start with books like The Cat in the Hat or other children's stories. These books are fun and colorful, and they use simple language that's perfect for beginners. The characters are easy to follow, and the stories are short, so you won't feel overwhelmed. Another good option is reading fairy tales, which are often written in a way that's easy to understand, even for someone just starting to learn English. Here's a great tip. Try reading for just 10 minutes every day. You don't need to spend hours with a book. A few minutes is enough to help you get better over time. Set aside a small part of your day, maybe in the morning or before bed, and just enjoy reading something simple. As you read, try to understand the meaning of the sentences and the new words you come across. If you find a word you don't know, look it up in a dictionary or write it down to learn later. Over time, you'll notice that your vocabulary is growing, and you'll start recognizing words that you've learned in other places, like in conversations or on TV. Remember, reading isn't just about understanding every single word. The goal is to enjoy the process and let your brain absorb the language. The more you read, the more familiar you'll become with English, and before you know it, reading in English will feel natural. So, find a book that interests you and start reading a little bit every day. The key is consistency, and soon you'll see great improvements in your English skills. Another important part of learning English is writing. Writing helps you remember the words and grammar that you've learned, and it's a great way to express your thoughts in English. Just like with reading, you don't have to write long paragraphs or essays to improve. Even writing a few short sentences every day can make a big difference in your progress. When you write, you get to practice forming sentences and using the new words you've learned. It helps you think in English and improve your ability to communicate. The best part is, you can start writing about simple things. For example, you could write a sentence like, "Today, I went to the park," or "I am learning English." These are easy sentences, but they help you get used to putting your thoughts into words. One of the best ways to practice writing is by keeping a diary or journal. Each day, write a little bit about what you did, how you felt, or what you're learning. It doesn't have to be perfect. Just try your best to express your thoughts in English. Here's an example. Today, I watched an English video. It was interesting, and I learned some new words. Or, I went to the store and bought some fruit. Simple sentences like these help you practice using new vocabulary and build confidence in writing. Another idea is to write short notes to yourself. For example, if you're planning your day, you could write a to-do list in English. 1. Study English for 10 minutes. 2. Read a book. 3. Watch an English video. Writing these small notes helps reinforce the words and phrases you've been learning. Consistency is key here. Just like with reading, if you write a little bit every day, you'll get better over time. You don't need to spend a lot of time. Even 5 or 10 minutes a day can help. The more you practice, the more comfortable you'll become with writing, and soon you'll be able to write longer sentences and paragraphs without even thinking too much about it. One last tip. Don't worry about making mistakes. It's perfectly okay if your sentences aren't perfect. The important thing is that you're practicing and trying. Mistakes are a natural part of learning, and every time you write, you're improving. If you're not sure how to spell a word, or if your sentence is correct, don't stress. Just keep writing. You can always go back and check your work later. So, let's make a habit of writing every day. Whether it's a short sentence about your day, a few new words you've learned, or even just a quick message to a friend, every bit of writing helps. The more you practice, the more you'll improve, and soon writing in English will feel just as natural as speaking. Keep it up, and remember, you're making great progress. One of the most important things to remember while learning English is that it should be fun. Yes, that's right. Learning a new language doesn't have to be boring or difficult. In fact, the more fun you have, the more you'll enjoy learning, and the more you'll want to practice every day. There are so many creative and entertaining ways to improve your English, and when you enjoy the process, it doesn't even feel like studying. So, how can you make learning English fun? One great way is by playing games. There are lots of online games that help you learn new words and improve your grammar. You can try crossword puzzles, word searches, or even interactive language apps that make learning feel like a game. Not only do these games help you practice, but they also keep you engaged and excited about learning. Another fun way to learn English is by watching funny videos. You can find short clips, cartoons, or even comedy shows that are simple to understand. These videos use everyday language, so you'll hear common phrases and expressions that people use in real life. Plus, watching something entertaining makes the language more memorable. You'll laugh, enjoy yourself, and at the same time, you'll be picking up new words and improving your listening skills. If you love music, why not try learning English through songs? Singing along to English songs is a fantastic way to practice pronunciation and learn new vocabulary. Find songs you like, listen to the lyrics, and try to sing along. You don't need to understand every word right away, but as you listen more, the words and phrases will start to stick in your mind. Songs are a great way to make language learning feel more natural and enjoyable. The best part is, when you're having fun, you won't even realize how much you're learning. So, try to find activities that you enjoy and make them part of your English practice. Whether it's playing a game, watching a funny video, or singing your favorite song, remember that learning can be fun. The more you enjoy the process, the more motivated you'll be to keep going, and the faster you'll see improvement. While having fun is important, it's also essential to remember that consistency is key. Learning English isn't something that happens overnight. It's a journey. And like any journey, you need to take small steps every day. Even if you only have 15 minutes, that's enough to make a big difference over time. Think of it this way. If you practice English for just a few minutes every day, by the end of the week, you'll have put in a lot of practice. It's better to spend a little bit of time each day learning English than to study for a long time once a week. When you practice every day, the language stays fresh in your mind, and you'll start to notice that things become easier. You'll remember words more quickly, understand sentences better, and speak with more confidence. So, how can you make sure that you're practicing English consistently? One simple way is to make English a part of your daily life. Just like brushing your teeth or eating breakfast, try to include a bit of English practice in your daily routine. You don't need to spend hours studying. Even 10 or 15 minutes is enough. You could review new words, listen to an English podcast, or write a short sentence about your day. The key is to keep practicing, even if it's just for a short time. Another tip is to set small goals for yourself. For example, you could decide to learn 5 new words every day or practice speaking for 10 minutes. When you set clear, achievable goals, it's easier to stay motivated. You'll feel proud of yourself every time you reach a goal, and that feeling of accomplishment will push you to keep going. And remember, it's okay if some days are harder than others. There might be times when you don't feel like practicing or when you make mistakes. That's all part of the learning process. What's important is that you keep trying and keep moving forward. The more you practice, the better you'll get. And soon, you'll notice that English feels much easier than when you first started. In the end, learning English is a journey, and every step you take brings you closer to your goal. Don't worry if it feels difficult at first. That's completely normal. The most important thing is to keep going. Each day that you practice, you're improving, even if you don't see it right away. Remember, there's no rush. Learning a language takes time, but with patience, practice, and a little bit of fun, you'll get there. Whether you're learning new words, practicing speaking, or reading a simple book, every small effort adds up. Over time, you'll notice that your vocabulary is growing, your sentences are getting longer, and you're understanding more and more. My final piece of advice is this: practice every day. Even if it's just for a few minutes, that daily practice will make a huge difference. And don't forget to enjoy the process. Learning English opens up so many opportunities, from making new friends to understanding music and movies, to traveling and even working in different countries. The more you practice, the more confident you'll become, and soon you'll be speaking English fluently without even thinking about it. So keep going, stay consistent, and remember, you're doing great. Step by step, you're getting closer to your goal. Before you know it, you'll be speaking English with confidence, and all your hard work will pay off. Keep practicing, keep learning, and have fun along the way.